Alban Vitagen is the best nutritional supplement for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Global. So, Entrepreneur Global aims to get amazing entrepreneurs from around the world who have created innovative businesses that also make a difference and make the world a better place. We start off today with the fashion industry, and our inaugural interview is with the founder and the driving force behind Pinklay, Daisy Tanwani.
Here we go.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for taking time and actually agreeing to be with us today. You have done some amazing work. So my first question to you is: you were very much in the corporate world, working for companies like Danone. What inspired you to break away from that and give birth to Pinklay?
Hi, Stephanie. Pleasure is all mine to be here. So yes, before starting Pinklay, I spent about 12 years in the corporate world, and I love to create things. The simple answer is that I love to create things. I'm always thinking, what more can I make? And create things, create jobs, create value. And I think that drove me to start off Pinklay. It happens to be in a field that I really like, which is design, handcrafts, which I'm passionate about. So, yes.
And you said you've always liked design and handcraft. Did you ever play around with it before you actually got in and started Pinklay?
So, I'm not a trained designer. I am actually a marketer. My background is branding and marketing. However, I love design. I love good design, and for the longest time, I've designed my own clothes. I have with tailors around. I shop a lot for my home, for my wardrobe. I like to style friends, etc. So these things I did way before I started Pinklay. When I started Pinklay, it becomes part of my job. So yeah, so that's my design background, which is no background per se. Um, what I
Which
like
is the
about
most important background to have, because you need to market your company.
I feel that it actually helps me. Like a lot of times, I think, a lot of people make me realize that maybe if I had a formal education background in design, I may have done even better. And I think to myself, it could have gone either way, right? Because at this point, without a degree, I do not have a framework. I don't have a worldview or an education view that I need to fit in. So my canvas is always empty.
You're
uh,
free.
yeah, it's always empty, and I am always myself surprised when we sit on the drawing board and we make things, and I think it actually works in my favor. I'm a very impulsive person. I really believe I work intuitively. My intuition is my biggest guiding force, and not having that degree kind of, I think, adds to those qualities or whatever you would call it to help me make Pinklay.
Definitely. And listening to your gut is the most important thing.
Yes.
And your brand says, your brand actually, your slogan, I believe, is the unapologetic yet tasteful use of color. Can you explain a little bit of, can you explain that phrase a little bit, your slogan?
Our caption is actually all things beautiful, but color is at the heart of our art is a very correct statement to make for our brand. Unapologetic use of color. Yes, we are not scared to use color. So a lot of times, especially when it comes to home decor, people like their pastels, wood, white sheets, etc. So when we started out, we said, no, bring home color. Don't be afraid to use color. A lot of times, color is also associated with tacky. sometimes because it's overdone, sometimes people don't know how to use it. And so when we started out, we said, no, that's not true. Color can be used in a way that it actually makes everything else looks nice. So don't be afraid to use color. So everything that we do has color at the center of it. Our brand name Pinklay has pink in it.
Yeah.
So yes.
Maybe can I ask you where the name Pinklay derived from? And I also read in another interview where you said, no matter what company I would have started, I would have called it Pinklay. So if you
Yes.
can just unpack that a little bit for us.
Yes. So Pinklay is actually made of two words, pink and clay. Pink for the versatility of the color pink, not in a feminine way. Pink is a powerful color, so many shades, and you can do so much with the color. It also is reminiscent of my hometown, Jaipur. I grew up in Jaipur for 17 years. I love Jaipur. Wherever I go in the world, that is going to be my favorite city and the most beautiful city I've been to. I just don't tire out of that city. Um, and it is, and the second part of the name is clay. Clay because I love the form, clay. It's so fluid. You can literally imagine and make anything out of the form. So, um, and and honestly, I don't know what am I going to do with these two words. They've always been with me. It's gulabi and it's mitti. It's pink clay. And when we thought to start this brand, I said, let's call it Pinklay. There was no branding exercise, nothing that went behind it. I said, I love this name. But when we actually went to look for domain names, there was no .com. There was only some .co or something. So to get .com, we mashed up the two words and we made it Pinklay. And so it is Pinklay.
Beautiful. I love how you spoke about the clay, and it's so true. And I think that encompasses the freedom that you spoke of earlier. You know, you can take it as far as your imagination
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I think that's a beautiful name. And a lot of celebrities also, you know, you use social media a lot. And so that comes from your marketing. Was it a very intentional thing to approach the celebrities and get them to, you know, endorse your products and to, you know, post about your products, or did it happen very organically?
Would you believe, except one or two celebrities, we have not approached a single celebrity.
Wow, wow,
Okay.
that speaks for itself.
And I would also give credit where it's due. Most of the celebrities, however big they are, they have quietly come in, placed an order, with created no fuss around it, did not even leave a message that they have placed an order and just quietly went out. Sometimes we caught them that we have a famous name who's placed an order with us. Sometimes actually slipped by too. And I think I'm really happy that way, because that tells me that we may be doing something right, that people who have access to everything and anything in the world choose to come to us and buy things from us. Our customers are equal celebrities for me, and I say that not just as a thing of saying. I say that because we're a self-funded business. We're a business that has literally started from scratch, and celebrities came in later. It was actually our customers who first invested into us by buying our products, having faith in a new brand, and then flaunting it, tagging us. If you see, our page is filled with customer stories. And I think for me personally as a founder, they are equal or more celebrity as for the brand.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Can you tell me a little bit? You know, your company is very ethical. It's a social enterprise. It empowers so many artisans around India. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how you conceptualized it and why it was important for you to go to the local people and work with them? Because it's not easy to manufacture multiple of the same when everything is handmade. And there's that saying, the money is in the masses, and everybody tries to that fast fashion. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how you saw that and why you chose to go the way you did.
One of the reasons why I started Pinklay in the field that I started. So whenever I traveled abroad and I went to these really big, big establishments, and saw these beautiful pieces that I wanted to bring back home. Some of the finest pieces had made in India tag, and I racked my brains that why is it not available in India? Okay.
Yeah.
So when we started Pinkley, I said, this is the access that we need to give our own country. Now, India is so rich in handcrafts, so rich. Our handcraft heritage is incredible. And um, Pinkley is also an effort to bring that in forefront. When you buy handmade, you buy more than a product. You buy a story. What people call imperfection or call, variation, I call it love. Invest into handmade, like what I'm wearing right now. This is Dabu hand block print. Each paisley is not similarly symmetrical placed, because there is somebody who's actually sitting stroke after stroke, block after block, and it's almost like writing a love letter. You have a person who's investing himself, his time, his art, his skill into making handcrafts. It's incredible. I'm completely passionate about it, and I think because I love it so much, I have been able to sustain this brand this far. Now, as far as the thing about what you said, that yes, there are variations, and how do you reach scale, if that's your question, that how do you scale it up, how do you make too many? There are ways. Cottage industry in India is large. If you are able to give them the right platform, right salaries, fair trade conditions, more people will come in. You will be able to make more. One is that there is, of course, quality standardization is possible. It's very much possible. The way to do it is a little different from, say, a more structured industry, but there is a way. That's one part. The other part is also from the customer side. It's important for brands to also educate customers, and I think a lot of brands in India are doing a stellar job at that. But more people need to do that. There is a reason why people are paying a certain premium on a handmade over a machine made, right? So, what is the quality of handmade? If you expect it to be like a digitally printed piece, that's not going to happen. They don't buy handmade. And that education needs to be conveyed. And we have less than 2% return rate based on quality.
Mm.
We rarely hear things like, oh, this unicorn was here, but this unicorn's horn was a little outside. No, I think people appreciate and understand these details. And it's the imperfection that makes it. Flaws are beautiful, you see. Yeah.
I love how you said that. Where people say it's imperfection, I say it's love. I actually got goosebumps when you said that. Very powerful statement. You're selling love,
Yeah.
and you're empowering so many at the same time. I'm really interested to know, like you said, India is full of handcrafts and different types of products. How do you go and decide, okay, this is something I want to add into my product range? How does the scouting process happen?
So we already have a roadmap of where the brand is going, right? We already know that these are the products that we want to work in, and these are the art forms that I am comfortable with, right? So, like in textile, we are a lot into hand printing. So, hand block printing, your ajrak, your tie and dye, your dabu, your bagru. These are art forms that I'm comfortable. I understand, and it's a form that we work with, and there's so much to do. So that's something that we keep working now, because why I say I'm comfortable, because I understand the art and I understand where the clusters are. I have partners and vendor partners and manufacturing partners who know where the clusters are. We also know how to somewhat know. Nobody's perfect. It's a learning journey, but we somewhat know how to streamline these processes and bring scale to it. Um,
Yeah.
at Pinklay, if there's one thing we don't do is source. We don't source. We design and manufacture everything because in handcrafts you can really go wrong with the QC process. So we try to control as much as we can in this entire value chain. Now, if I want to then expand, I would be like, okay, what's the next thing where I can go? Okay, furniture is something again I understand. I understand wood crafts. I understand ceramics, clay. These are things that I understand. But then there are things we don't go in yet because our understanding is not that evolved. Like for example, food items or personal care items. Like no, there's so much to be done in textiles. We'll first do that. uh, Also, I feel that as a brand, as how we function, if we have taken a cluster of artisans, or we have say taken five families who are doing dabu. Okay, now I take it upon myself to make sure that these five families get year-long work and more people get attached. So it's also important to get depth in that category. Um, See, there is no end. If you have good design, good quality, there's no end. You can just keep going deeper, deeper, deeper into categories. So if you even see as a brand, we started off as home decor, which we still are. We extended the line to kids, which was always the plan, and then we extended to women's wear. Now within home itself, there is so much to do. I think it'll take me 50 years to cover the range. Yeah.
So, Daisy, you were talking about the five families and how you make sure and ensure that they have worked throughout the year, so that it's a very stable, sustainable industry. So, my question is: do you go and do you train them? Do you train new artisans? Maybe there's somebody who wants to get involved, who perhaps is not familiar in the arts and crafts. Are you able to train them? Do you do that?
We don't need to, honestly. I mean, I will not take credit for something that is not required. We not at the printing level. Printing is one of the biggest, or quilting level. These are, see, art is a lot of generational business also. Like, if my father knows it, the son would also take it on and all of that, right? But what we do at that scale, if we are able to give you enough work and if you're able to pay you right, you will have more and more family members get attached. So that chain gets still there. But then there's other part in the factory. Like, we actually have so often taken women who know nothing, who just know how to do stitching, and then gotten them to a place where they started at the bare minimum, but now they are actually stitching, tailoring, and all of that. That happens on the job. We've had people who joined us as basic tailoring work tailors, and now they are actually doing, they are masters sample makers, which is a more evolved job. So we don't have a school or something. Everything happens on the job, and that's my focus. My focus is to provide right infrastructure, right pay to even people internally and outside, to make sure that we have enough gender diversity, and not just to say I'm a woman myself. Damn me if I just say it and not do it. These are things that are important to me, and I think once we are able to create this incentive structure and include more people in, and provide more jobs, the training happens. It is generational. I think those guys will do it better than any trainers I will ever find. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's really nice. I love how you let people have ownership and you give them the liberty and the trust to do what you know they do. I mean, many times there's fear behind that. So I think that's very powerful in and of itself. Daisy, if you can kindly recount a time throughout your journey so far where you had a very tough decision or a difficult situation that you've come across, and maybe you can tell us what it was and how and what helped you overcome that within the Pinklay journey.
When you start out, when you start out, your initial phases uh, of building something, you are faced with more failure than you are faced with successes. You are constantly in a zone where you have pressure to perform, especially if it's your self-funded business, right?
Yeah.
Uh, uh, it's very important at that point to remember, and this is something that I've said from day one, that trust your dreams. Castles are not built overnight. Have faith. Uh, Give yourself that time. Say, okay, I have this 2 years or 1 year or whatever your situation allows, and I'm going to give it my all. So that's one part. The other part is that, and I hope somebody told me that when I was starting out, don't compare. Do your own thing. Do your own thing. There are huge incentives to be fearless, to be original, to not worry about if you fail. Entrepreneurship, just like life, is about winning some and losing some. uh, Initial years of entrepreneurship are losing a lot and winning some, and it is okay. It's okay.
Wow, Daisy, that is very, very inspiring. Thank you so much. Like that's, be unapologetically you, have faith. And I love that line, trust your dreams and castles are not built overnight. I think that's very beautiful, a lovely takeaway. Um, so Daisy, now when we first started the interview, you said this has been my life for the past 2 years now. This period in time, I mean, the whole world is adjusting to a new normal. And as an entrepreneur, also in the fashion industry, where fashion shows, and there's so much around that industry that's physical, where you have to be physically present. Um, how have you maybe redirected or your company or coped with this new normal?
So I think it actually worked in our favor, because we quickly realized that this is going to be the digital world for not just short term, but it's going to be the new order of world. At least that's what I feel. People have learned a lot of new ways of living and working and all of that. So we pushed a lot of our energy on content we made on making sure that the shopping becomes easier online, etc. Those That was the part on the shopping front, on the business front. But there's the second part to the business, which is about managing staff, managing design process, managing productivity, getting people aligned. We continue facing issues. But for the most part, I think if your people are invested in you, in the brand, if they believe in the direction that you're taking, and if you take them along in your story, because they are part of your story, not for saying, I find it's not, I don't have a choice. These are people who helped me build the brand. So they need to know the goods and the bads. They need to know when they falter, when they don't falter. So somehow disciplining has not been per se an issue. But I think that's to do with the fact that uh, I think we're blessed with a bunch of people who believe our direction and who see themselves a part of the story. So, yeah. And then I take a few risks here and there. Last year I did, this year I don't. I do fly in and out of our factory. I have to, I don't have a choice. But I take all the precautions and stuff. But for the most part, yeah,
Hmm.
it works.
And so how has your social media marketing also been? I mean, you have your website, your Insta, your social media.
So we're not very aggressive. We're not very aggressive, but we like telling stories. We've always liked telling stories. Now we just tell a little more, few more stories, I think. But our social media is largely driven by two things. One, Of course, the products that we have and telling people the process is one thing, but also our customers. That's also an important, very, very important part of our entire story. So it allows us to even enjoy what we are creating. When you see a lot of customers on our we also, it keeps us motivated and going. When we see so many people dressed in our garments, or dressing up their homes, it's a really nice thing. So it makes a huge part of our social media appearances. I also like to involve people in the process. Like I said earlier, in the earlier question you asked, that it's so important to tell people what they are buying into, and especially when you are actually investing so hard as a brand to create space for handcrafts. It's important to relay that information out. So this is largely our social media strategy, if you would call it. Stories and stories.
You're a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people love to hear stories.
Yeah, people
So,
love to hear stories. Yes.
yeah. Um, so, do you have any physical expansion plans? And I'm asking that because I would love to go into a shop in Sri Lanka and buy your, your items. So it's a selfish question.
I love Sri Lanka, and I'm just putting this out to the universe. I would love to open a store in Sri Lanka. We have a store in Mumbai. We had plans to open two more stores last year before pandemic hit, and those plans remain plans. I love Sri Lanka. I've been there twice, and
Right.
in fact, just before pandemic hit last year, we were just about to leave for third vacation to Sri Lanka, and all of that didn't happen. So yeah,
Well, very soon, hopefully, when things get a little better,
absolutely,
we'll be able
absolutely,
to invite you
absolutely.
here and
Yes,
go
I love
into
your
your
country.
own shops and buy.
It is gorgeous. It is simply gorgeous. I love your country, and I've
May I ask
kind of
you?
yeah.
May I ask you where you've been in Sri Lanka?
I the reason why I didn't take names, because I'm like, I'm going to pronounce them wrongly, but I'm going to still tell you. So of course, Colombo, right? Right, that's correct, right? There is a place called Unavatuna.
Unavatuna.
Unavatuna, right, right.
Beaches.
Then there is a very nice hill place, lot of tea gardens. Um,
Nuvarelia.
Say again.
Nuvarelia?
Yes. That looks like Little England. It's a
Yes.
beautiful place. Then there is another place right at the tip of your country. It has really nice resort of jet wings, Eva jet wings. It was also from you, another place. So basically I traveled the entire edge, like the
Okay.
coast, and then went to Nuva. Yeah, I forget the name.
Nice.
Went there. I couldn't go to Kandy, and imagine, twice I've been to Sri Lanka, and both times I was there for 7 8 days, just holidaying, but I couldn't go to Kandy.
Okay. When you come back,
Yes,
and then
absolutely, this time coming back
hopefully you
longer.
can, yeah, and hopefully you can go see Sigiriya. That's actually my
Yeah,
favorite,
yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite place. The huge rock, Sigiriya Rock.
I'm
There's
going
a
to
main.
I'm going to ask you when I come next. I'm going to just drop in a mail, and I'm going to tell you. I'm told amazing whale watching happens there. So I was actually thinking at some point we'll do that. But yeah.
Yes, inshallah next year.
And I love the food. I love the food. I love the food. Don't ask me the names, but and especially there is this something called with egg appams. Like there is egg in it, and it's like really soft. And what is it called?
Upper.
Okay. And
Bitsara
I love
up.
it.
Upper.
And I love it. I love it. And how? Like I could eat like 10 at one go. They're just really good.
But that's normal. You're
Is
supposed
it?
to, yeah,
Okay.
because it's
Okay.
so thin, right?
Yeah,
It's
but it's
delicious.
so
I love
yummy.
it.
It's so yummy. I love it. Yeah.
I cannot wait for you to come, Daisy. Just before we wrap up, you're such an inspiration. You just followed your heart, followed your dreams, you're a free spirit who's very driven and who knows exactly where Pinklay is going to be. Um, and there are so many youngsters out there, so many new upcoming entrepreneurs um, who idolize and who want to have a journey like Pinklay and to be an entrepreneur like you. So perhaps you could give them three key takeaways um, that you think are the most important that you have learned throughout your journey.
So you do your thing, but don't do it mindlessly. Have a plan. Don't rush into things. Um, Entrepreneurship can be a very trying and a lonely journey in its initial stages. So it is very important that you plan how you're going to fund your life and how you're going to fund your brand, what you're building. Give yourself a time frame and do not chicken out before that time frame. Give your 110% in that time frame to your dream. Uh, if you are get into entrepreneurship, if you are convinced about something, only if you believe in something, you will be able to make others believe into it. So that's really important. And finally, remember why you got into it in the first place. You got into it because you thought you're going to enjoy this. You are building something. Don't get too carried away by what you see in media. Don't stress yourself unduly with the numbers that are floating around. It's your journey. It has to be your destination. If you succeed, great. And even in success, please set up your own parameters of success. Success is not always 100 crore business. For me, it's not. There are a lot of other parameters. When I am told, and I like to say that because I'm very proud of it, when I'm told that just in our close purview, Pinklay at this point employs 350 plus artisans, and I'm not even counting the weavers. I'm not even counting that cloth sourcing, which happens in thousands. I'm damn proud of that, and that's my success meter. So set your success meters. Give your dream yourself time. Don't get bothered with what is happening. It's your journey. Plan for it before you get into it, and always remember why you started it in the first place.
Amazing. Thank you so very much, Daisy. It was really an honor talking to you.
Same here.
You're a wonderful woman, and like I said many times, very, very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I hope to see you in Sri Lanka very soon.
Yes.
I'll invite you for a egg hopper after dinner.
Thank you. Yes, it's called Egg Hopper. I remember. It's been a while that I went there, so I've forgotten. Yes.
It's okay. Hopefully next year you'll be here and planning your shop here so that I can go and furnish and decorate my house with all your beautiful items.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much once again, Daisy, for that wonderful, inspiring interview with so many takeaways. You're a fantastic woman, a superwoman, if I may say, who has empowered so many individuals, to make their dreams happen. So I think hats off, you're an inspiration. And to all of you watching, thank you for watching, and see you at the next episode of the Entrepreneur Global. Thank you very much, Stacey.
Maliban Vitagen is the best nutritional supplement for you.